G'day folks, in this video I'll show how you can solve the crazy two-faced Venus. Well, I absolutely love this puzzle. It's a really challenging puzzle and I'm hoping that the method that I show you will be very simple. As simple as it can be for a puzzle like this. What's the crazy two-faced Venus? Well, it's a crazy planet puzzle that has one two-face on it, and a two-face has no circle parts. So when it's solved, this entire yellow face will look like a Rubik's Cube face. The other faces here will be circle faces, and being a Venus cube, what it generally has is two opposite one faces and the remainder zero faces. So with the two-face puzzle, this yellow face counts as a one face. In other words, the circle, the inner parts will turn when the outer collar is turned. This white face is also a one face, and you can see that there are yellow bits on the face. The circle's not made, but it still turns. The remaining faces are all zero faces, and that means that outer collar will turn. The parts inside stay fixed. Now, any zero face will not turn if there is even one yellow piece on it. This is where this puzzle becomes really challenging. It's certainly not the hardest Venus. That would be Crazy Venus, or Crazy Two-Faced Venus 2N, coming soon. But this one, Crazy Two-Faced Venus. All right, here we are. We've got any face like this that's in the middle here. The only way they can turn is if there's no yellow pieces on them. The first thing that I'm going to do is try and get all the yellow edges and corners onto the yellow face, because this is the part that's blocking stuff. So if I can turn things up like that, I will. I would possibly turn that around. You see, I'd like to turn that up to there, but I can't because of that piece. So let's try another one. That's okay now. Where's the next one? There's one here that I can get up, and here's the problem. I'm struggling because of these pieces here. So what I might attempt to do is firstly take that down to the white face. This is a case of, hey, you try stuff, and if it works, that's great. I will put that on there. Turn it round. Now I've got this up, and I think we might be good here. There we go. First little tiny mini stage. All yellow edges are on there. Now the corners. What we want to do with the corners basically is sort of up, up, down, down to put them into place. I've got 1, 2, 3. Is that the other one? Ah, here we go. Yeah. All right. So the first thing that I might do is try and just sort of hide these out the way for a minute. And I'm trying to free up basically to get this one, if I could, on the lower layer here, but the way that's going to achieve now. Okay, I might be able to do this, is turn that down like that, turn it off and return this. That's looking good. Okay, let's put this one back into its position. And the other thing we could try and do, which is really sensible if it's possible, is to combine this with that and bring them up at the same time. Now at the moment I can't do that yet. However, I've got no pieces on the bottom now. That's a good thing. All right. Just looking where those pieces are. There's two at the back there. That's good. I'll keep them out of the way. And what I'm going to do... Oh, this is quite tricky. I'm nearly able to do this. I've just got to be able to turn this one up to the yellow face. I can't quite do that. But I can turn that face to remove all the blockages, and I think we're good now for this one. Now, what has that done is taken out that edge, which is not great. And what I'm going to do is I think get the other two corners into position if I can. Now the first one there, I'm going to bring this down. I think this might be a slightly better approach at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to turn that one off, turn this edge down, put the corner on, bring it back up. Good. Now I can turn this one up, and that's much better because I only have two corners to play with now. So I can now do the same thing for this one. Turn it down, get it off the bottom, and now bring that edge down, put it on, bring it up. Same sort of thing here, just bring that down. It's on the bottom at the moment, don't want that. Okay, there we go. So just stuff like that is what I want to do. All the yellow stuff is on the yellow face now. The next thing for me is to get the outer edges, the yellow outer edges, onto their correct circle edge, if you like. Now these, being a Venus cube, it means that all these side faces are zero faces. So when we turn a zero face, you'll notice that that and that do not move. In fact, orange, orange, blue, blue, red, red, green, green. Doesn't matter what I do, I can turn them around like that, but they will never move from this layer. So it's a very simple thing to solve those bits. What I mean is now I want to get this yellow orange outer edge onto there. So the way that I would generally do this is just to take this one down to the white face, turn it round, put it where it belongs. Now I've got a white, or a yellow blue I should say. Sometimes I just go and put this back into the empty slot, because what that does is then only has one corner out at any one time. And if I want, I can go fix that corner up and then start again. So when I've got a yellow blue opposite the yellow red, that's even easier because there'll be no corners that come out. So that yellow blue has been placed. Let's move the yellow green. Yellow red automatically lands back there. We can now finish off with this corner. So what I've got now is the edges essentially in position and solved. I'm not worried about these yellow outer corners yet. That won't happen till near the end. So that's good. The next thing I want to do is solve the circle edges. Now I'm going to hold the yellow at the bottom for pretty much the whole solve from now on. And when you think about the circle edges, we've got the variety that I've already talked about, which is these ones that can only move sideways. They can never move around the face. So that's good. So I'm really just talking about these ones in here. And we think about how did they get out of position? Well, the only way for that to happen was to either move on the white face. You can see now that can move anywhere it wants, or on the yellow face like that. So we're not going to really touch the yellow face. We're going to do all this on the white face. And it's really simple. Let's look at an example here. For example, let's place this red one into here. And what I want to be able to do is simply turn this up, turn that edge on, and turn it down. But you'll see that yellow corner gets in the way. So this is going to be a really common standard move here to remove that yellow corner, just a left down. Now I've got a white corner in its place. There's no blocking. Turn it up, put the edge on, turn it down. I'll undo, so I'll do the full 4 moves, and then undo the left down, and all the yellows are back, that red is in. Same thing here, I'll just set it up initially there, and this time we'll come from this side. We can come from any side we like actually, we can still do left down. There's no problem there, as long as you've got a clear corner in that position. That's now placed. Okay, we've got a blue we can put in this one. And I always want to do that fourth move just to reattach that one to there and then this one to here so that the yellow face stays as I want it to stay. Got a green one here. Green one here, so I can do a back down prime as well, whatever I like. Couple of oranges, so let's do this one first. That's freed up that blue. Put that in, well, put that in now. And the final one here is this orange one. Now there, what I've done is have it on the wrong position to begin with. I should have had it around here to place it into here. That's why that went wrong. Okay. Alrighty, that's all good. And you can see that I turned that up face back and all of the circle edges are now in position. So what I've just done there, because I'm reducing this to a circle cube as far as I can, is I'm restoring the relationship between the circle edges and the centers. So on a true circle cube, when you do this, you turn these, you'll notice that the circle edges do not turn from the centers that they're attached to. That's sort of what I've done here. Okay, the next stage of this solve is, again, keeping in line with the, reducing to a circle cube, is that I want to reduce the yellow outer edges. And what that means is, on a circle cube, if I have this white red outer edge here, there is a particular circle corner on either side that belongs to it. And on a true circle cube, when I do this, those circle corners would always go with it. And if you think about the white red one, if we were to put that into its correct position, the one that goes here would be blue, the one that goes here would be green. So this would need to have a green and a blue like that to be reduced. Now when I talk about the yellow ones, let's have a look at this yellow blue. That contains this circle corner and this circle corner. They are the ones that should be attached to it. They are the ones that I now want to attach in order to reduce these yellow edges. So each of the edges has 2, so there's potentially 8 to do here. Now, obviously we've got to use in some way this white face to do it, because that's the only face that will break the relationship that we're trying to restore. So the way that I'm going to do it is, because of the blockage, is firstly just to find one up the top that I can use. So let's look at this red one here. This red one needs to belong in that position. Now it might seem like what I'm going to do is place a corner into there and attach it there, but I'm actually trying to attach it to this yellow-green outer edge. So I want it in this position. The first thing I'll do is do a left down to put it into that position. Now, obviously I've knocked out the outer edge, so it's certainly not attached yet, but it has put this white corner here, and what I can do now is bring it up to the top. I can turn the white face, put it onto the top, undo, undo. Now, let's undo the setups. And what we see is that that red circle corner there, which is the one that was up here and that I want to place here, is now sitting safely on the white face. It's come out with the red circle edge. So now I want to put it back with the red circle edge. So essentially what I want to do is turn the position up, turn it on, undo. But again, you can see that yellow corner is a problem. Now what we did previously when we placed circle edges is that we did a left down. Now if I do a left down and try this, all that's going to happen is when I undo, that red corner becomes not where I want it. So that is not an approach I can take here. What I need to do instead is remove this yellow corner by putting it up to here. Now I'll show you what I want to do, and then I'll show you why I need to do an extra turn first. So I'm going to do a down, down, up, up using the left face. That yellow corner is out of that position now, and I'd like to turn this edge corner part up to the white face to put this on. But I can't because that yellow corner is there. So instead of just turning it up straight away, what I'm going to do first is just move this one more turn that way. You'll see exactly why I do that in about 10 seconds. Now I'm going to return, now that the yellow corner's up, I'm going to return this to my position, and notice that the yellow corner is hidden at the back and I have a spare white corner there. So now I'm quite able to turn its position up, put the edge corner pair on, undo, undo. Two things that happen. That goes where it should. This yellow corner is back here. I can return it with a down, down, up, up. And what you'll notice is that this circle edge now has a circle corner next to it. But what I've actually done there is reattached this red circle corner to this yellow-green outer edge. So now on a circle face, I turn that, and that red circle corner moves with the outer edge. That is what I'm doing. Here's a green one that needs to go into this position. So first thing, I'll move it down, put it there. Now I want to bring it up to the white face. Undo setups. Now I want to do that extra turn so that when I bring this yellow corner up and I turn this green part back, the yellow corner is removed. Up, on, down, undo. That green corner is now in, and I can replace the yellow corner. So despite me taking quite a while to explain that, it is very, very simple to do, and it's pretty quick. Here's a blue one. Let's go quicker. Attach it, put it on the white face. One more turn. Bring the yellow corner up, back into position, put it on, yellow corner down. And that blue one is in. Do I have an orange up there? I do. We'll get the orange done as well. And we now want to give that one more twist so that I can now happily place it into its position. Now, here's a great example of a reduced outer edge. This yellow-green outer edge now has its correct circle corner there on the red face, its correct circle corner here on the orange face. They are correctly attached. So as long as I keep turning these on circle faces, they will remain attached. Now, I've got all the ones done on the left side. I've got a few to do on the right side. Well, it's the exact mirror of what I just did. So I want to set the corner up here first, bring it down, store it on the white face. This time I'll turn it one turn further around that way, so that when I bring it back, that yellow corner is stored over there. Now I can go and attach that circle corner. I can place it back into position, which attaches it to this outer edge. That's done. Got a red and a green. Let's do the green one first. And then the red, well, that's now perfectly in position, so I can finish that one off as well. Now you look around the bottom and you see all the circle corners on the lower layer are correctly positioned, which means every single yellow outer edge is now correctly reduced. And that one there, if I move that around, the green and the blue circle corners remain with it. Well, the next stage of this solve is to solve the outer edges. And I can, of course, if I want initially, I can just put that there to see that that's all still good. I'm going to place all of the middle layer outer edges first. And what that involves is finding one that's on the top, positioning it above where it needs to go so that I can do a down, down, up, up. You recall so far that as I've been doing cycling circle edges, I've been using the white face, and that's what gets them cycled. Now I want to not use the white face. And so I really just want to go down, down, up, up. But you can see if I do that, yes, it's placed it, but that yellow one has come out of position, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do instead is left, down to push it out the way, put a white corner that I don't care about in there, and now I can go down, down, up, up. I'll undo those moves. That red-blue is correctly in position. Turn this one around, it's got to go there as well. That's done. There's a red-green. This one's got to come down the left-hand side. So down, down, up, up. And the last one, the green-orange, is sitting here. So note that I'm not using the white face at all. I'm only using these zero faces to do the turns, and so the circle edges, the inner edges, are staying exactly where they should be. All right, now at this point, you've got all the outer edges placed, and we've now got to check for a few things up the top here. There could be some flipped edges, 2 flipped edges, or possibly 4 flipped edges that are in place. There could be 2 swapped edges. What we've got here is the white orange is done, the white red is done. I've got this white blue and white green. These are actually both flipped and swapped. So I'd like to deal with the swap before I deal with the flip. So I've got these 2 swapped edges here. What can I do? Well, I cannot turn the white face because it knocks out these circle edges which have no way of getting back apart from that. For the same reason, I can't turn the yellow face. So the only possible face I can turn is one of the side faces. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to turn any side face 1 turn. I'm then going to resolve the yellow edge back into its position. I'm going to do that using one of these white edges from the bottom. So I'll just turn that up like that and now replace the yellow-green edge. That's back in. Return that, and all the yellow edges, and if you note everything else that we've already done on this layer, is back and solved. Now, in doing this, a couple of the circle edges have come out, and so we just need to resolve them in precisely the same way that we did before. Other one over here was the red one. So the circle edges are all back. So too are the middle layer edges. So I'm now back to the position that I was before, but I don't have swapped edges anymore. What I've got is yellow, blue going to here. Oh, sorry, that's not yellow at all. That's white. White, blue going to here. White, green going across to here, and white, red going to here. That is, of course, a 3 cycle. Before I do the 3 cycle, you'll notice I've got 2 edges here that need to be flipped. And to flip those edges, I'm going to use a sune, but I'm going to turn this middle slice up before I do it. Now, in practice, what you generally would do is just turn these 2 layers for your first and last turns. So we'll go do that to start the sune and then just continue normally. And now for our last turn, bring both layers back. And you'll see that all the edges are now flipped. What we've got to do now is solve them. So for this, we can hold this already done one at the front, and we can say which direction are they cycling. White, red to there, green to here, blue to here. That means I need to do a sune mirror. And this time I don't want to turn that slice, I just want to turn the left. All of my outer edges are solved. Now the reason that I wanted to solve my outer edges is for exactly the same reason that I had the yellow edges in here first before I placed the circle corners. It's very simple to see what circle corners belong. Now, exactly the same, if I've got a white-green outer edge here, it's obvious that that's got to be red, that's got to be orange. It's in its position, and so these must be the correct circle corners. So what I'm going to be doing now is placing these circle corners. It's actually reducing these white outer edges, but it's going to look like I'm just placing circle corners. Now, the way that I'm going to do this is clearly we need to use the white face or the yellow face to be moving these things around. And we could come up with convoluted sequences, which would work, but what I want to do is keep things as absolutely simple as possible. And so what I'm going to be doing is simply swapping or exchanging every time circle corners, and they could be on the same face, it could be on different faces. The only other thing that we'll need to look at is getting the coloured circle corners from the top face to the upper layer, so we'll deal with that when we need to. So there's really probably three main techniques that are all you need to get this done. Let's show you the first technique here, and if you look at it like this, you can see, well, there's a blue corner there that needs to come across to here, so I could happily swap those two. Now these are in a perfect position to do this. There's no issues, there's no blockages. Let me take you through what happens. First thing is I remove one of them down to the yellow face. We're going to use the yellow face to do this. That's down there. I then move the other one down to the yellow face as well. They are both down there. Now you'll see that they land on opposite corners. So all I need to do now is turn that down face 2 turns and undo these moves. And I have swapped the blue and the white. Now, when I say undo these moves, of course, what I'm really doing here, by putting this outer edge down into the middle layer, I'm able to then move this to attach this blue circle corner to the white-red outer edge. And of course, when it comes back in, as soon as I put it in with this not being blocked, that is the correct outer, or the correct circle corner that belongs with this white-red outer edge. So that is really what I'm doing here. Now let's put that back and we'll see it in action. The white-red outer edge has that blue circle corner attached. Doesn't have the other one yet, so it's not fully reduced, this outer edge. So that's the first technique. What's another technique that we can use? Let me just see if we've got any that are set up to do it. Not really yet. But what I can do is do a third technique to lead to that. So the other thing that's super useful is the ability to swap 2 circle corners on the same face. And you might think, why on earth would I want to do that? It's already in there. Well, lots of reasons, and one of them I'm about to show you. But you do this in pretty much the same way. Also note, it doesn't matter whether this is back solved or not. Often I will put it back solved just to keep my bearings, but it makes no difference. So first of all, we're going to take this circle corner to the bottom. So move the outer edge to the middle layer. We're then going to take this one to the bottom. Now, the blue we wanted to put over here. So we'll turn this down face, put it underneath, and then place it. Okay, now the only other spare corner, we now turn this back, and we've just attached that white one to this outer edge. We don't actually want a white, but what we were attempting to do there was just to swap 2 pieces. So now that it's attached, we can put that back. You'll notice all the outer edges are exactly where they should be, and we've swapped those 2 pieces. All right, why on earth would we do that? Well, notice now that I have a situation where I have a blue and a white on opposite sides of the same outer edge. Now, I don't really care about the white at the moment, but I would like that blue to go to there. Now, when I had the blue over here, I couldn't really swap them. It would have done nothing. But now that I've done this swap on the face, I'm able to show you how to accomplish this. So this is really the third technique. Well, what we want to do, and you're going to think this is strange that I just swapped these, but anyway, I needed to set this up. Perhaps I'll swap this one. We just choose one of them, and we just want to swap this on the same face. So whether this blue goes to here and the white goes to here, or whether these white and blue swap, doesn't matter. I'll swap this one and this one. So we do that in the same way that I just demonstrated a minute ago. I can turn the white around to here, or I can actually, let's turn this one where it should go. So this was the blue, it was going to come over to this one. Okay, and then I'll need to turn, here's the other one, this one back to here and put the other one in. All right, so I've swapped the blue and the white, no problem. Now, what you'll see now is that this blue and the white one over here are on exactly opposite sides of the puzzle. So when I move the blue down to the yellow face and I come around here and I move the white down to the yellow face, once again, they are on opposite sides of the down face. I can simply twist around and place them. That one's in, and the white's back over there. I put all these things back. You'll see all the outer edges are still where they should be. Everything else is where it should be. And that's some really simple techniques. That's pretty much all you need to do all of them, apart from getting circle corners off the white face onto here. So really there's probably a couple of main ways you could use sune, and I have occasionally used that. However, I'm going to use the corner piece series because I find that sune is more to take care of. There's more to keep track of. Whereas with the corner piece series, yes, it'll move outer corners, but I don't care about them yet, so I'm not worried about them. I'm interested in knowing what circle corners it will move. Now, let's say that initially I'm going to choose a circle corner on the top, and I'd like to get it to the side face. Well, it doesn't matter if I have it here or if I have it here. So on the left, up back left, or up back right, it's going to be the same pieces down here. If I have it on this up back left position, then I'm going to be doing an up clockwise corner piece series, and the pieces are going to cycle the green to here, this blue to here, this white up to here. They're the three pieces. If I do the mirror, then it's going to be the green to here, the white to here, the blue to here. You can see it makes no difference. So initially I'd look and say, well, I'd like to get the green down here. I'm going to have to possibly knock out a blue to do it. Maybe that's okay. I can always fix things up. What else could I do? This green, same sort of thing. I'm going to knock out a red. What about the orange? The orange is going to knock out a couple of pieces. So since I only have whites left, I've got no choice. I've got to move one of them down to do these techniques. So what I might do is think about what makes sense. Well, if I move the green down to here, what I can then do is swap the green and this white, and then I can undo the corner piece series. So the first thing is, let's move it down here. The red will just store up here while we do that. So the absolutely ordinary corner piece series. The next thing I said I will swap these two. Notice that that red's just sitting there. That's okay. So let's swap these two. Okay, they're now swapped. That green is in place. That was the one that was here. What I can now do is reverse the corner piece series, put the red back in here, and I'll just turn it around and do the mirror. So the white will come here, the red will go there, and this white will go to that position. So that has fairly simply got a green from here down to this layer. All right, 1, 2, that's the only bits that I've got left. What about the orange and the green? What can I do with them? Well, let's take this green, for example. I can move the green to the blue position here. Now you'll notice that if I do that, that green is on the exact opposite side to here. So once again, I'm going to move the green to here. I'll temporarily move the blue across to there and just store it. And then I can swap the green with the white and then put everything back. So that's the first thing. Move it down to there with the corner piece series. Okay, now I've got it in exactly the opposite position, so I can now do the swap. That one's on the bottom. What was the other one? The white piece here, I think. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, spin the down face, put everything back. And just for good measure, let's turn that bottom face there. Now, the white is here. The green has landed over here. You'll notice now I've got the white in that position. That blue was pushed over to here when I did the corner piece series. So what I'll do now is do the reverse one, cycle that blue back into its position. Again, pretty straightforward. Last one to do is this orange. Now the orange is right here. What can I do with this one? Where could it land that it might be helpful? If it lands on that red face, well, I could certainly, this is one of those scenarios where if it was there, I could then swap these two and be able to place it. So I reckon that's as good a deal as any. So I'll bring the orange down to here first. So it's sitting here. Let's go ahead and just to keep things clear, let's not swap those ones. Let's swap the orange and the red. Okay, they're both down there. We'll turn the orange on. Bring this back. Just put the red on. Remember, this red is just going here temporarily at this stage. Now I've got the orange on an opposite side to that white, which is exactly what I want. Okay, twist the down face, put everything back. Let's see what is what. We've now got those two oranges in. What are the pieces that are out? Well, the blue clearly needs to go back here. The red will go back to that position. I don't really want a red there. What I need is this white over here. So that now needs to swap with the red. And I'm now in a position to do the mirror corner piece series to place the last of these pieces. So the circle corners are done. And what I really want to be clear there is that I'm not really using the corner piece series to cycle pieces home. What I'm using it for is to get colored pieces onto this upper layer so that I can then do my exchanges all from this upper layer. That's essentially what I'm doing. It's quite similar in that regard to the crazy 3x3 Venus or the crazy 3x3 Mercury. Really the same technique there. But now they are done and we are able to move on to the outer corners. First thing I'm going to do is solve the yellow outer corners. This one's done. I just want to find one that's not done and move it up to this white face. So just a down, down, up, up. And I note that it's yellow, green, red. So I'm going to turn the yellow, green, red position around and then put it back down. And because I'm turning zero faces, none of the circle corners involved are touched. Yellow, orange, green. That's that position. Let's put that back down. And yellow, orange, blue is this one here. Okay, and the yellows are all in, and you'll notice that seemingly like magic, all the other outer edges and circle corners are back in as well. Now that is not always guaranteed. What I'd like to do now is just set up quickly for a situation where that doesn't happen. All right, well here we are, and what it looks like is that we've got one final 3 cycle to get the edges back where they are. All the yellows are done, but there's a bunch of circle corners that look out of place. Now, if we think about the outer edges, clearly that is the wrong circle corner for that. On the other side of it, the orange blue should have a white circle corner, because if it's placed in a position, that's where the white goes. So this one and this one will be fine, and in fact this one here will be fine as well. What we've got to deal with is these other circle corners. Now the way to think your way through this is to just imagine that you do a down, down, up, up. In fact, I will do one just here right now, and I don't care which direction I'm doing. I just want to concentrate on these circle corners. Down, that blue goes down to the bottom. Down, the orange goes to the bottom. Up, up. Notice that really what happened was the orange went from here to here, the blue went down to the bottom, and the yellow came up to here. Let's just undo that and just ponder it. So when I did that, it really did a cycle like that. And the one that's turned down first is the one that will land on the bottom. So I've got to think here that really I've probably got 2 cycles that I need to do. I can't just get all these done doing 1 cycle. I'm going to have to do 2 cycles. And that means, since I can only turn these side faces, instead of moving this straight here, I'm going to have to move this to here first, in that direction, and then do another one in the same direction. So if that's the case, first thing I think is that because I'm turning this down, there's an orange circle corner that lands on the bottom. That orange circle corner, I want to land in an orange position. And so that tells me the orange position that's available over here is the one that I want to move down to the bottom face first. So I'm now going to place this orange corner into there and have it stored away. So I'll do down, down, up, up. I'm going to undo that setup, and I'll see that that now has a nice orange sitting there, and things look quite a bit better. Then I've got to do another cycle in the same direction. So again, I think, well, there's a blue going down to the bottom. And if I was to put this one on the bottom now, this blue would go to there, the orange would go across to here, and this blue would go across to there. That is therefore what I need to do. And of course it will cycle the last 3 outer edges home at the same time as fixing the circle corners. And that is what we want to happen. So that's pretty tricky, as I said, and you saw earlier, sometimes they just magically solve, but if not, that's how to approach it. So everything is done now except for the outer corners. In fact, just the white outer corners. So I just want to check if any are in position. Not yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and get these into their positions without worrying about orienting them. If I can orient 1 or 2, then I will. And it looks like here I could certainly, what could I do here? The white, blue, orange, I could bring down this side and do a cycle like that. Now, in order to not disturb circle corners, I cannot turn the white center. I cannot involve this white center because it's a 1 face. So before I start, I just want to put that up so the left, the up, and the right are all 0 faces. Now I can cycle this down. I'll return the slice. Notice that that is precisely the same sequence that we used when dealing with circle corners, but the circle corners haven't moved because we did not use the white center. Okay, this is in position. Looks like now I've got another 3 cycle here. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to actually orient any, which is a bit of a shame, unless I do a setup like that. That might be worth considering. So if I was to do a setup, the problem is that I get the yellow corner into play, and I do not want that. So I think what I'll do instead is just say that's going to go across to there, and I'll orient them all later. So once again, I'm going to move a 0 face center sitting up there, and let's cycle them. Return the center. Okay, those three are now all in position. They all need to be rotated clockwise. And normally what I would do would be just to use 3 faces around a corner and do the rotation that way. Unfortunately, I don't have 3 0 faces around a corner on this puzzle, so I can't do that. What I've got to do instead is a sune followed by a sune mirror. And doing that will orient, or it'll rotate the one at the front left anti-clockwise, the one at the back left clockwise. So I'm going to have to do at least 2 lots of it here. Well, I'll certainly be able to get this one done. Now, once again, I need 2 0 faces. So I firstly turn that up like that, and doing the sune, that is not going to come into it, so it's going to be fine. So here we go. There's the sune, now the sune mirror. All done. Turn that slice back, and that one has been rotated. Now, the last 2 that are sitting here, this one has to go clockwise. So I would prefer that these are, well, this was at the back. Now, even if I say, well, why don't I just sort of turn it around like that? Well, it is at the back, but it's on the wrong side. So even if I do the opposite, it's not going to fix it. I'm going to have to do the whole sequence twice to rotate this one to there and this one to here. That's okay. That's really not a big deal, given the nature of this puzzle. So there's once, they've been rotated. Let's rotate them again. Okay, we'll move our slice back, and we'll undo that last setup move, and you can see that the crazy two-face Venus has been solved. I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough, and I really love this puzzle. It's a challenging puzzle. As I said at the start, it's by no means the hardest of the crazy two-face puzzles, or even of the crazy two-face Venus puzzles. So I hope to get onto some more of them soon if my brain works. As always, thanks for watching.